since I think the last time you were in a live was with Tanya. So I guess I kind of wanted to just ask, what are your thoughts on everything that's going on? Are you like completely up to date? It's been a lot.
Well, I know I get a lot of requests about Nate and Paige, and obviously with my whole move I did and everything, I don't do his content as much as I would like to. So I always send people to you because obviously you're doing great work on them. I do know it seems like I don't know something happened a few months ago, and maybe you can kind of explain it to me. Like I know how many views and how many people would typically be in their lives, and is he buying followers or did they have or views or did he have a significant jump in his content and people that watch their videos and things that are going on in the past few months?
So that is a great question. I have noticed the jump in views and engagement myself. And I actually did a little research because I noticed that this jump happened with their start of their TikTok shop. And apparently, from what I've read online, you can actually get like ad revenue credits, a small percentage from each purchase that you make through the TikTok shop. So what I believe is happening is he is taking those ad credits and boosting his live and his videos.
And that's typically because I've kind of had Nate pinned from who he is from years back. I kind of figured he was either using a promote feature or like what you were saying, how there's that built-in feature. I figured he had to be doing something to generate the views on there because it didn't seem organic, if you know what I mean. So that's typically his forte is to make something look more than what it is so he can try to say, hey, look, I'm big, I'm grand, I'm, this is, come and buy from us, you know what I mean? So I figured there had to be something going on there.
For sure. And yeah, that is a talking point every now and then on his live where he'll mention, like, oh, you guys, I got a million views the other day on this video, or trying to make him seem more appealing to the audience, I think. But, I will say, like, obviously, there's been a couple of big YouTubers that have posted videos about Nate and Paige recently. There's been a couple more awareness accounts that have sprouted out these past couple months. So I don't doubt that some of that is organic, but I do think like the ad credits probably do play a factor.
Yes, and I've never speaking to Chloe or I think as you know, even from the very beginning, I treated Paige as a victim. And I never once like, yes, she's in it now and she's old enough and she is part of what they do. And she knows the difference and she has lied all along as well. But um, Nate is the main because he's done this stuff way before her. So I I just want everybody to know I've never thought as Paige is the actual problem in the beginning. She's complicit now, but Chloe was never the problem. She got wrapped up in stuff, I'm sure, as well. So I hope, you've never had a problem with like people, blaming them or anything, because I know how Nate will like to spin things.
For sure. I think the conversation around Paige has shifted over time. Like, obviously, when the relationship first started, she was a victim. In that sense, she is still a victim. But I mean, she's 22 now. She's well aware of the evidence. She's well aware of the lies that they are both, spewing to the audience. So, yeah, like I said, I think the conversation around Paige has shifted a little bit. I'm happy to
Absolutely.
see that Chloe has left.
Yeah, she's totally complicit in what's going on now. She's by means not off the hook of anything now, but I'm just glad Chloe got out of there. Like I said, I've never spoken to her in the past. I've spoken to Nate's ex-wife. A lot of people don't even know the dude was married. I mean, I've spoken to his ex-wife. I've spoken to his son in the past before his son ever even left and went on the road. And met Chloe. And I've spoken to a lot of these people in the past and done interviews and stuff like that. And I'm just glad Chloe, for whatever reason, she got out of there and she's in a safe place. So excellent work keeping up with it, FN.
Thank you. And I totally agree. Just for those that are wondering in the chat, Chloe and Jeremiah will be here a little bit later. We're just in here to get this started, get the conversation flowing, and get some questions down. Um, Adam, do you feel comfortable, and it's totally okay if not, do you feel comfortable talking about what came out the other day regarding Josh? viewing the situation between Nate and Paige, if you know what I
Yes, and
mean.
I'll keep it TikTok friendly as I can on my main account, which is not this one. I think I'm on at Tired of Nonsense, but on my at Thin and Out Nonsense Thin and Out Nonsense account, all my videos are still up from years ago that I did on them. There is screenshots in there that his ex-wife had given me, which is Josh's mother, and different things, even a birth certificate that she had given me and wanted me to provide to show some of Nate's lies and everything. But I'm not going to get into the real bad stuff that he did even before that. That's a whole nother story. But I know when it came to Josh, I spoke with him and a friend of his, and he told me the whole story in a long text and conversation. And then Josh's mother, which is Nate's ex-wife, told me, basically confirmed everything with me, that Josh was in, I might have little bits and pieces. It's been, off. It's been 3 years, but 4 years or whatever. But I know they were up the road from Nate's house, which is a trailer on a lot, if I remember right. And Josh was staying with a buddy or whatever. And Nate and Paige were oddly, now Josh was dating Paige, they were young. She was 16. He was however old he was. I think he's around her age. But Nate and Paige were staying together in the trailer, and it was very odd. And then, however it happened to be, Josh ended up being over there, and Nate and Paige ended up having relations, if everybody knows what I mean, in front of him. And that's when his mother confirmed to me also that he had basically freaked out. She had him on a plane immediately out to Arizona where she was living. And I don't know, later he ended up back in Maine, obviously, but that was basically confirmed by both of them, him and her at the time. And I couldn't imagine at that age seeing your dad do that. It's just horrific. And then I think you've probably seen the video, and I might have a clip out there too, where later when we were kind of exposing Nate for it all, I think you were in being a part of it mainly at that time. He even did a video saying, yeah, he got with my ex-girlfriend Paige or whatever and did this little thing and then took it down really quick. But a lot of us had gotten the video, and I think even Troy was part of that and getting that video. So if you put it all together, it all adds up. But the problem is I think I was the first person to ever find that old Nate main account that is a TikTok that he had, and he had lost access to it. And that's where back in the day I had originally gotten photos of them together, and she was either 16 or 17 in those photos. I can't remember, but I know they were 16 when they got together and stuff like that. But that's why they were lying about their age, and they had to in the beginning because people could do math, But it's funny because, it's not funny. But how many times, especially years ago in the beginning, she would accidentally mess up her own numbers and expose her age, and then the next day, she would have to correct it, and even lying about that 1 year that she has always done. I think she still lies to this day about that year.
Yep, she does.
It's because she knows that people will know that she was a minor. And I've talked to Nate, or Paige's own biological father, and actually so have you, because he came in the live we did. And he has more than a number of times confirmed her birth date. And so is her mother now for everybody. And so it's not rocket science. And it's just very sick what this man has done. And it's a bigger, nastier story of what he's done before her. And it's not even his first time. So
yeah, Nate does have a history with young women. It didn't start with Paige, and I would argue it's not going to stop with Paige. But yeah, thank you for giving your thoughts on that situation, because I know you did have a personal conversation with him all those years ago. So it's just crazy that we're yeah, we're I guess reliving it in a way. Um, Chloe and Jeremiah, if you are in chat, just whenever you feel ready, put it in the comments and I can add you guys up. But until then, we can just keep talking. Adam, were there any specific questions that you had for them that I could write down and we could potentially get to? I've been taking questions all day from Reddit and Discord, so I just wanted to ask that.
I don't have any doubt in my mind. I already know the type of person Nate is, and I'm pretty sure Chloe would say I'm 100% spot on with this, that he monitors everything. He has his hands on everything. Nobody is basically allowed to do anything without his approval, his say, and he controls everything. Any information flow in and out of their whereabouts, their lives, anything, and blocking family members and all that. That all happened with Paige herself. So I guess I would like to just maybe hear from her perspective what it was like being around them in that trailer, in that mobile home or whatever, and just like the life of Nate himself, because I know for a fact he has not changed. And I would just like to hear what it was like, what she saw, or whatever she's comfortable, talking about. So
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting because talking to her and Jeremiah behind the scenes, a lot of what she was telling me about his behavior, it matched up to Nate's behavior towards Tanya. And I can't help but wonder if he was a direct influence on how Josh was treating Chloe or handling the situation within that RV.
I feel like personally just Josh is becoming like him. And even his mom had made one comment to me, I think when I was doing a follow up with her. I think I was trying to reach out to her, maybe for you or somebody at one point, and we just had a few interactions. And I think she was kind of at the point, well, he's old enough to do whatever. He's not going to listen to me. I think that's even what she had told me, and I relayed it to you or something. But I do remember it was either then or a little before she had basically said that she felt like he was anything to make a quick buck, and like he sees Nate as a way to provide for himself, and even if that's in a way that's not normal for a lot of people, because I'm a business owner. I totally support Nate or Paige or anybody that wants to run a small business and do it right, but to have the amount of complaints that you do and different times, that you can just look up so much stuff on them, about their business, and people complaining they didn't get something or it was wrong, or their policy of returns and how they fight with people and stuff like that. He's always down to get money, and it's always going to be around the concept of theft by deception, because obviously, that's what he was charged with and back in the day. And he doesn't want to go to jail for just directly taking a pew and like taking money from somebody. So any angle that he can, he's going to get somebody for what they can. I mean, you remember in that live, those screenshots I showed, he got that lady for, what was it, around $10,000 that she had sent to him?
Right. Was that having to do with the RV purchase as well? I think I'm remembering that.
That was like for the RV repairs, I believe, and just other things. It was a combination of things. And he would just use anybody for whatever. And unfortunately, she can't go like press charges on him, and it gets crazy, because you're in another state. And so it's so hard to do anything about it. But just as a man and running a business, you talk your business up, and you're so good at making your jewelry, and you spend so much money doing this, but you have to take $10,000 from a lady and basically just use her. And how many times does it happen with people if she came to me and I could show that in a live, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's not the only time. And her moderators, I don't know who's over there anymore, but I know like Nessa, and there was a couple in the past that I feel are just as bad as them in my opinion, because they've been around it so long, there's no way they don't know what's going on. But that's a whole nother topic too, about the enabling and moderators and stuff like that. But Yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot. And sorry, I do keep seeing people ask in the chat. Chloe and Jeremiah, as soon as they're in the chat, I will pull them up. We're just waiting for them and having a conversation beforehand about everything that's going on because it's been a lot these past couple months. I mean, honestly, it's been a lot since I would say May 2025. Ever since Tanya left that RV, it has been just complete chaos ever since. But I do appreciate this conversation. Um, I think it's easy for people, and myself included at times, to be like, you know, how could somebody give them $10,000? How could somebody purchase off their TikTok shop and things like that, or give them money? Like Brenda gives them money. Seems like every week sometimes. But the deception part really does play a role in this. And he kind of puts on this front that all of his followers are his family or his close friends. You're not his close friend unless you buy something from him. It's a transactional relationship. So I just do want to remind everyone that the deception of it all, it could be like, I don't know, a magnet, especially if you're somebody that maybe doesn't have a lot of interaction in your day-to-day life. You're looking for friends or you're looking for somebody to confide in. It's easy to fall into that trap. So I just wanted to say about that. But we should be getting started soon. I'm excited. I think we'll have about 30 minutes, but if it goes over, I think it's okay. Chloe and Jeremiah, whenever you're in chat, I think they said around 6:30 Eastern they would be popping in. So whenever I see them, I will pull them up here. But if anyone has questions that you'd like me to write down and ask them, feel free. Or if you have questions about Nate and Paige that I can answer. I know some people were asking me if he had 8 kids. That is true. From the conversations I've had with Chloe, it does appear that she knew that Josh and Paige were together before she went into the RV. We will talk about that. Somebody's asking if the stones are real. The stones, I think what they are doing with the stones is they're buying them as cheap as possible, possibly in bulk, and then claiming that they are worth more than they actually are. Have they filled the clothing orders? I want to say some of them, yes, but it took them months, and it's still taking them months because I think some people still haven't received their hand-sewn orders. I believe that Josh and Paige were together very briefly. Chloe hasn't came yet. I started this early just to get people in here, start a conversation, and get comfortable, I guess. As soon as I see her in here, she can request and I'll pull her up. I also do want to address this. Apparently Josh is live right now. That was probably a strategy on his part. I'm happy you guys are all here, and I think it's more important to hear Chloe out on this live than go and, I don't know, have a smoke sesh with Josh, but oh, did he get off? Okay. I don't believe all of the hand-sewn orders were shipped. I think some people got their items because they might have been complaining, but I don't think all have been shipped. Yeah, if I'm breaking up for you guys, try to exit and come back unless it's like if everyone's experiencing it, let me know and I can change over my Wi-Fi to data or something. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about, the patchwork overalls. I don't think all of those orders were completed. He was talking about Jeremiah. So, I saw a post over on the Reddit where it was valid concerns about Chloe and Jeremiah. Because if you Google his name, you do see a case that pops up. We are going to talk about that. I'm going to have him talk about that right off the bat so we can get it squared away and then shift the focus on to Chloe. But we'll get some clarity on that. Keeps breaking up. Okay, give me 1 second, you guys. Okay, so I had it on data. I switched over to Wi-Fi, so hopefully the connection's a little bit better. And when Adam first joined, I did see some questions about who he is. If you guys don't know, Adam is like a big player in this game with Nate and Paige. He is someone who really started to dig deep into what they were doing and make content about it, content that was really easily digestible. So I like to have him up here because he has a lot of background knowledge about Nate and Paige that I don't have. He's talked to like Josh's mom. I've never had a personal conversation, so I like to have him up here just in case I need him as a reference, I guess. But Adam is awesome. You should go follow him.
Well, I appreciate that, FN. I don't know if you know the person in the comments, Chase, right? But Chase, FN does plan on going over that issue with whatever is in the past there. So,
Yes,
and telling people they're choosing sides is, there's no need to stir up any kind of trouble like that. You know, people can basically understand there's a right and wrong pretty much with everything, and you know, that's what people should probably try to side with. It's not about choosing sides.
Yeah, and I do want to clarify, like with me having them up here, I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm choosing a side. I really do just want to facilitate a conversation. The same thing with Tanya. Like Tanya got up here and we asked her, like, why would you allow your daughter to be, you know, with a man in his late 30s? And we had that conversation. It's gonna be the same type of deal here. We're gonna ask those questions. And any questions you guys have in the chat, you know, keep copy and pasting them. We'll get to it. We'll get to it for sure. Sorry, okay. Tanya is Paige's mom. She lived with them for, I want to say maybe a little over a year, and then eventually she left. And when she left, she had kind of similar allegations to that of Chloe with Josh. And so I had offered, and Adam was part of that too, and a couple of other creators. We all came on live and we had, I think it was like a 3-hour conversation about everything. Joanne, that's a great question. I mean, I know I've done my part in reporting. I know people over on the Reddit have done their part in reporting. I know you all have. I don't know why TikTok continues to facilitate these people and allow them to have a TikTok shop, considering everything that has been revealed. I don't know. I really don't. And I think on our last live with Adam, we talked about like reporting through that legal link, which is still a great option to do. Even then, I got a kickback automated message about it, saying, you know, just report them in their live, even though that doesn't really do anything. So I don't really know what to say about that. Just keep reporting, and hopefully eventually TikTok will take this seriously. And hopefully it doesn't have to get to a crazy point for them to take this seriously, because now we're seeing them dox people. We are literally seeing them dox people, and they still have a platform here on TikTok. It's crazy. So, okay, Callie, good question. And I'm hoping you guys can answer a question for me, because I've seen a comment here and there about it. When you have a TikTok shop, are you able to delete negative reviews? Or are they stuck on your account? I personally don't know. I will say about the reviews over there, if you scroll through those reviews, a lot of them are from their moderators, and specifically Breland has made a lot of reviews. I think there were like 17 the last time I checked. So they're definitely inflated. I don't know if anyone has gotten scammed off of their TikTok shop just because they've been selling like pre-made items that they can ship right away. The quality of those items are in question. I don't know. Nessa, yeah, you guys probably heard Adam mention this a little bit a while ago. But their moderators, they do play a role in this whole thing. Nessa has been with them, I believe, the longest. And like Adam said, she's been there long enough to know the things that we are sharing, the things that we have found, and the lies that they have said. And I do believe they're even using her address on like the mailing slips. So the mods also play a big part in this whole scamming business. I doubt they deleted their account. You guys probably just got blocked. On the video I posted recently about going through Nate's court filings and how he allegedly didn't pay restitution. 15 minutes. Oh, wait. Okay, so Chloe and Jeremiah are in chat. They said 15 minutes joining the live. I will pin this. If I can. Maybe I can't. Okay, well, they will be joining us in 15 minutes. And sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, I agree. It is sick. And I don't know how they can continue to stand by them when Chloe is now coming out with her story. I just don't get it. I don't know at this point what it would take for their main moderators and followers to stop supporting them. If this doesn't, nothing will, frankly. If the dog abuse allegations didn't stop them, I mean, if the scamming allegations didn't stop them, I don't know what else at this point. There's nothing we can tell them.
I'm a little more on my platform, like a little blunt about that when I speak about it, like, which I'm not, you're saying the exact right thing, but it's just amazing. Like the people over the years that have seen them pull off so many scams. And there's no doubt that like Nessa and some of those people don't know Paige's true age and what age she was when Nate got with her, and how they still even support to this day. It's mind-boggling to me. I don't even get it, because I don't know how many people are parents in here, but if that was your daughter, I mean, I can only imagine what some of you people would do. And I know what I would do. And it's hard. That's why when we had that big live and Paige's dad came in, especially, that was pretty intense. And all I can say is like that enabling aspect and just knowing what people do and still supporting. I mean, that is really, I don't know. It just seems to feed them. It feeds Nate. It makes him feel like he can just get away with anything. And you're right. There's, at this point, it seems like there's no way to stop him, because somebody new comes in all the time, and it's like a cycle over and over again. But look how many people you have in your live. Look how many people see them for who they are now. The good thing is, so many people see now what they are compared to what they saw 2 years ago. So anybody that wants to bring awareness and tell the truth about them, please spread the news, watch FN. I mean, keep up with this, all the updates, and please just help spread the news about them, because I mean, I'm just blunt. This man is not a good person, and he has hurt a lot of women and their futures. And it's really sad to see.
It is sad to see, and it's not going to stop. It's going to keep going until he's forced to put a stop to it, like in 2017 when he was arrested. And speaking about that arrest real quick, you guys, I did come out with a video a couple of days ago where I made contact with Heather. Heather was one of the main victims. She was so vocal at the time when he was arrested about what he did to her and others with that rental scam. And I know he tries to minimize it now. He tries to say, that was 10 years ago. It wasn't 10 years ago. But he tries to say, oh, it's 10 years ago. I'm a different person. He will not say their names in the live. He will never go into detail about what he did specifically. It's always, I'm a better person now. I have changed. And that's why you guys should ignore it. But when I talked to Heather, she confirmed to me that she was not paid back restitution. She never received an apology from him. And he tells you guys that he was thorough. He went through the 12 steps, that he personally made amends with every single person. He did not. Because if he did, Heather would be one of those people he made amends with. And proof of that is posted in that video. But yeah, this is a cycle that's not going to stop unless somebody puts an end to it. If TikTok puts, and I'm not speaking about vigilante justice. I'm just making that clear. I mean, like, TikTok is going to have to deplatform them or something similar before we get justice about this or get something done about it. But until then, we will just keep spreading awareness.
That was actually amazing, FN, when I saw that video a day or two ago that you had got in touch with that person. Even in the past, I'd always seen that person in the news report because I knew about the theft by deception charge in I think I'm saying it right, Androscoggin County there. And I never thought to like try to reach out to that person, and I never talked to any of his previous victims from that. That was really awesome.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I am trying to get in contact with two others, Loretta, and there was somebody else in an article. I think it was a man. I can't remember his name, but I am also trying to reach out to them because I want to know, did he make amends? Did he not? And I will be truthful about it if he did with those people. But when it comes to Heather, who like I said, was the main victim in all of this, she never got closure. All right, let me scroll up a little bit. Can we talk about the allegations between Jeremiah and Chloe? Yes, I want to get that squared away right when they come up, just because I know a lot of people have questions and concerns around that. So I'm going to let him speak about like the article that was online and what Chloe said on her live. We'll get that squared away, and then hopefully we'll move on to the Chloe situation between her and Josh and her name page. If you guys have questions, feel free to put them in chat. You might have to keep copying and pasting them, but just no one's going to get muted here, so just keep doing what you're doing. Oh, hey, Nate's Pupils is in here. Jeremiah is open. We'd like to hear his side. Yes, and I do want to, by me having them up on here, I'm not saying, you guys, I'm like #1 Jeremiah fan, #1 Chloe fan. I'm just giving them this platform. I'm trying to facilitate this conversation so we can get their side of the story, especially Chloe's side of the story. Because if you guys don't know, when she left, Josh had gone into her account and deleted it. So that like zapped her communication with everyone. She's under a new account. So I'm giving her a platform to tell her side of the story. And also, if people want to follow her new account, follow her new journey, they'll be able to do so. I believe that she will be joining through Jeremiah's account. So, but you guys can find her account through his.
So basically, they did the same thing to her that they did to the mom when she had left. It sounds like.
Yes. Yeah. It's pretty much to a T. And we thought that was going to happen. Like when they first joined, I remember we had conversations about this. They're going to do the same thing that they did to Tanya, and look what happened.
Yeah, because if I remember right, they shut her phone, her TikTok, and like even her payment system down or something like that, or just basically tried to do everything they could to silence her.
Yeah, so with Tanya Page's mom, they, I believe they suspended the service to her phone. They deleted her TikTok account. She was on the bus to get to whatever location she was going to. They tried to cancel her bus ticket while she was on the bus. Obviously, they failed to do that because she was already on the bus. So they were trying to pull whatever they could to mess up Tanya. And I don't doubt that behind the scenes they were trying to do the same with Chloe, and that's why we saw her account get deleted.
And that goes back to saying exactly what I know about Nate is 100% true. He controls everything. He's behind everything, every narrative. And for them to have that access to all that information and to be able to shut it down just shows that he's in control of it all. And it sounds like Josh is following right along in his footsteps because he did it to Chloe as well.
Yeah, that's what I think is going on, but of course we'll hear from Chloe. One second. Okay, so I see Jeremiah requested. I'm gonna get him up here. Of course, we'll hear from Chloe. Hello. Hey, how's it going?
It's going.
It's going.
I'm trying to like get off my phone.
Okay, so
there we go. I figured it out.
Okay. Well, hello. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate you guys being here. I'm sure it's nerve-wracking.
Oh, no, not at all. I get to spread tea. I'm gladly to do it. I'm so for their BS.
Awesome. Is Jeremiah with you as well?
Yes, I'm right here.
Hey, hello. So
Hey.
I know we only have like a very limited amount of time. So just real quick, could you explain to everyone like the article about you and your history, just so we can move past it and get to Chloe?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know the article looks terrible. However, obviously, when you get arrested, you're charged with allegations of what allegedly happened, but I was not convicted. The DA and prosecutor, they dismissed it. And also, you said you verified that as well. I said that to you before you even verified it. And I didn't even know there was a website where you could check out it was dismissed. I'm telling the truth, and that's why I know what happened. And I'll tell you guys what happened. So I tried to save someone else. Right now how I'm helping Chloe in this situation, and we're back together. She's out of the RV. Well, so someone who was into hardcore, I got to be careful what I say on TikTok, like considered tier one scheduled, blah, blah, blah. If you get what I'm saying, stuff that's like highly addictive. So, this was way back in like 2018. The person that had ended up, claiming she was a victim and got me arrested. So, she was pretty bad. She spray painted a Lewiston police car in Lewiston, Maine, like spray painted a police car. If anyone knows about Lewiston, it's a terrible ghetto with lots of, I can't say it, lots of stuff that's just illegal, pretty much, that people get into. And there's a lot of stuff that I can't really mention here on TikTok, but it's just a bad town. But she spray painted a police car. We had just been together for a short time. She went to jail on federal charges, and she was actually in the Androscoggin County Jail. And so what I did while she was in jail is I kept putting money on her books, and we only been together for probably a week before she went to jail. I could have easily said, nah, it's only been a week, and just backed away. But she kept calling my phone over and over again. I felt bad. I was like, you know what? All right. So we actually started to build up a relationship while she was in jail, believe it or not. So I was putting money on her books. She probably was just telling me whatever I wanted to hear. But I was like, wow. I was like, this person really loves me. I was feeling good. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to get in a nice apartment, like within 45 minutes, an hour away from Auburn Lewis, and just get her away from all her old blank connections, if you get what I'm saying, get her away from those bad connections so she doesn't have access to that stuff. So anyways, I got this apartment up in Jay, Maine, I thought away from everything. However, I ended up moving into a 4 duplex condominium thing, and our next door neighbor was someone that sold stuff, if you get what I'm saying. And yes, they didn't sell good stuff. So anyways, and the next door neighbor, she was, I got to be careful what I say, I guess, but she liked females, I guess is probably the best way I can say it. So our next door neighbor sold stuff that was illegal. She was attracted to my girlfriend, and it got bad. She was like trying to borrow everything. Can I borrow toilet paper, food, just anything? And so I just, one day, so I was working from home at the time, right? So we were living in this place, 45 minutes from Auburn Lewiston. I'm working from home. All right. I was a sales trainer, and I also, I helped to run a telecom marketing firm from home. Most of you can tell I communicate well because I did it for a long time. So anyways, so I was working at home, wearing a headset, and I come back into the kitchen one day. She comes back from Michelle's condominium in just her panties. And I'm like, I know Michelle likes females. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. Why are you coming back into the apartment just your panties? She's like, it's no big deal. I'm like, actually, it's kind of a big deal that you're just coming from our neighbor's place in your underwear. Anyways, we'll fast forward. So, in December it was probably December 8th or 9th of 2018, she got released from Androscoggin County Jail. She already knew I got us that place in Jay. So we lived in Jay for the rest of December. Now we're talking January 2019, February, March, April. And then I think I got arrested May 10th. It had to have been within a couple of months of her getting out of jail and us living there that the person I said was our neighbor, that was attracted to her, that sold illegal stuff, where she came back from that neighbor's apartment in her panties. And, you might as well call it a guy because she's attracted to females, obviously. And she was feeding her free stuff. And so I remember I was bringing Bobby up to Farmington, Maine for federal probation. And so I'd bring her there once a week. They had to test her for what once a week to make sure she was clean. So she started testing false positive for something really bad. I don't want to say exactly what it is. However, Bobby accused one of my best friends that owns a barbershop in Mechanic Falls, does very well in life. He's not a bad guy. He'd never do me wrong. She accused him of tossing something that's completely legal. It's, medicinal, if you get what I'm saying, just a hippie, whatever. So she accused one of my best friends of tossing that in a salad bowl, and it got coated with this stuff. And that's how she didn't pass her test for federal probation. I'm like, my best friend Eric is not doing that. Like, he could kill us. He's not doing that. And come to find out, I started to realize, wait a second, I was putting two and two together. Our next door neighbor, Michelle, was giving it to my ex, Bobby, for free. That's why she was starting to come up dirty on the test. Anyways, so that's the whole reason I got her away from Auburn Lewiston, but she found a way, and our neighbor next door was giving it to her. So, anyways, we would travel down to Auburn Lewiston. At the time, I didn't have custody of my daughter. So we'd go to visit a couple times a week. I would drop Bobby off at her grandparents while I went and visited with my daughter. And then one day she was really mad, and the ghetto of Lewiston has all kinds of access to you know what that you're not supposed to put inside your body. And so she was like, you were so mad, get out of the vehicle. And so she started walking down Pine Street in Lewiston, right to the ghetto. So I called her parents, grandparents, I called her family, because they know I was trying to get us an apartment and get her away from all that stuff. And so anyways, so I was calling her family. She's walking down Pine Street saying, hey, she won't listen to me. Like, she said she's going to do blankety blank and put that in her system. And so anyways, later on, so she didn't come back to Jay with me. She stayed in Lewiston, I think at her mom's house. And I don't know if she did that or not, but later on that day, her and her mom went shopping in Augusta. I'm back in Jay by myself. Her mom drops Bobby off at the apartment in Jay. This was the night that I actually got arrested. Earlier in the day, like I said, I made all these phone calls to try to tell her family, maybe you can stop her because she's about to do, this stuff and put it into her body. And her family didn't want her going back to that lifestyle. So later on, before she came back to Jay, I deleted my whole call log. I didn't want her to know I reached out to her whole family, trying to help her so her family could help stop her as she's walking down Pine Street, threatening to put this stuff back into her body. She'd been sober for
Can I
months
pitch
and
in
months.
real quick, Jeremiah? Sorry to cut you off, because
Yeah.
people are going kind of crazy in the comments. I just want to clarify, I asked him to share this story because there was concerns over on the Reddit and through my TikTok comments. When you Google Jeremiah's name, it pops up with an article about a certain case, a DV case that we're talking about right now. And I'm having him explain the story. So I'm sorry, I know like attention spans are short, but I did ask him to explain just so we can get past this, get past people's concerns, and get to Chloe. So Jeremiah, because, people are kind of just wanting to get to the Chloe conversation, are we able to fast forward to the day that you got arrested and what happened?
I know, but listen, if these people really want, because there was some hate on Reddit yesterday. I'm brand new to TikTok. I've only had a TikTok account for probably 3 days now, and I'm glad people have enjoyed my videos. But if since I now feel like I'm forced to come to my defense, I'm getting to that part right now. So if you guys really want the story, please let me finish. I'm almost done. I don't just want to jump right to the night of getting arrested. I'm building a whole picture here. I'm very good at describing and explaining things. So bear with me. Let me build this picture. I'm getting to that point right now. I'm going to let you know about the character person I was with, spray painted a Lewiston police car. She was actually selling, I don't want to say, and she was doing that stuff for a long time, hanging out with the wrong connections. Anyways, so when she started doing that stuff, testing false positive from these federal tests that she was given once a week, she started to change. I noticed a change. And so, anyways, that one day where I deleted the call log, so she didn't know that I had talked to her whole family to prevent her from doing that. Later on that night, she came back. My call log was deleted. I was in the shower. Okay. This is the whole situation I'm building up to. This is where it all started, involving the police phone call. So I was in the shower, and me and her, we had access to each other's passwords for our cell phones. I don't care. If I'm in a relationship, I'm loyal. I have nothing to hide. Go right in my phone. Nothing to hide. I have no interest in other females if I'm actually with someone. So she goes in my phone and sees the call log is deleted. She came into the shower and attacked me. She ripped the shower curtain down, and the shower curtain, after it got ripped down, she's like throwing punches and attacking me. She's scratching me. I'm like, what the hell, Bobby? Like, knock this off. Like, she's going crazy on me. And then she left the bathroom. And then I end up going in. I cut the shower short because now it's getting stressful. This is a really heated situation. She ripped the shower curtain down. She's attacking me. I go into the bedroom as I'm getting dressed, and she attacks me again for a second time. Like, I'm trying to put my underwear on. I'm like, still fully blank. I want, obviously I'm just trying to put my underwear on. So attacks me again. And then at this point, I'm like, get away from me. And then she runs over to the neighbor's place, which, like I said, that neighbor that was feeding her that illegal stuff, that was attracted to her. And I don't know exactly what was going on when I was working from home, because she came home that day, like I said, in her panties, which was pretty weird. Anyways, so she goes over there and they called 911. And, actually, Michelle's the one, not the girlfriend I was with at the time. Called 911. The police come, and then Bobby gave a fabricated story of, that I strangled her and all kinds of stuff. Baseball bat to the head, you name it, punched and all kinds of stuff. And she put in the police report that I hit her in the head twice with a baseball bat. Well, guess what? In court, there was no pictures. The cops couldn't take any pictures because there was nothing wrong with her. There wasn't a single bruise, no scratch. If someone as big as me, like, I'm 6 feet tall, I'm 230 pounds. If I hit someone in the head with a bat, it's going to be a massive egg on their head. They're going to be laying on the ground, probably in a pool of blood. And so she said I hit her twice in the head with a bat, strangled her, punched her, banged her head off the floor. How come the police couldn't take a picture of anything? Because I didn't do anything. She attacked me in the shower, attacked me in the bedroom, and then probably so I couldn't make the first phone call, which I'm not a cop caller anyways, but probably so I couldn't, she made the first phone call. So the first person to call 911 obviously appears as the victim because they're making the phone call. So the J police come, and she ends up giving this fabricated story. Michelle is standing right beside her, the one that was attracted to her, that was feeding her that illegal stuff. Michelle hated me. She really wanted my ex Bobby badly. And so anyways, Michelle's giving a bad story, probably just saying terrible stuff about me, making me sound crazy. And obviously Bobby fabricating the story because they gave her a strangulation test. There was no strangulation test. I mean, there was no strangulation at all. The police discovered that. There's no bruises, nothing, completely fine. You want to know why the prosecutor and DA in Farmington, Maine completely dismissed my case? They told me in their 30 years of being DAs and prosecutors that they have never seen domestic violence that was allegedly described to this level of badness, where there's no pictures, not even a single bruise. The only person that had any cuts or scrapes was me. She cut my whole left cheek down to my chin up to my ear. She cut my neck on the left side below the first cut I just described. Could have cut my jugular vein open. Probably just did that with her nails because she didn't have a weapon. I had a bruise on my forearm that took like a week to heal, like a bad bruise that turns like yellowish, green, purple. You ever had a thick bruise? She got me on my forearm. Like I had bruises all over the place and cuts. She didn't have anything wrong with her. That's because I didn't touch her. She went to make the first phone call to 911 so she could appear as the victim. The cops bought her fabricated story, and guess what? And then once it got to the court of law, and the judge, the DA, the prosecutor, they're like, in all our years, over 30 years of experience, we've never seen, like I said, this level of a bad domestic violence where there's not even a picture of a single bruise, not even the bruise the size of a quarter. There was nothing wrong with her. So anyways, I just want to put this to rest in this conversation, and anyone has any questions, I'm a good guy. I really am. I raised my daughter, Annabelle. She's 10. She's going to be 11 years old coming up here, January 21st. Academically, she does great in school. I make sure she does her homework. I talk to both of her teachers. I even asked them at the parent-teacher conference to give me reports on how my daughter's doing once a week on Friday every week. And she's doing great. She's even, they say she's polite. She's great to have around in the classroom. I've had custody of my daughter now for going on just about 3 years, and I make sure she lives a good life. We go to restaurants all the time. My Facebook proves it. Look at the life that my daughter lives. We're always doing fun stuff, and I make plenty of money. I know someone said on Reddit that was, obviously someone that doesn't like me. I know some of you call people like that haters. They probably are a hater. Anyways, they're like, you probably don't even work at the shipyard. Yeah, I actually do work at the shipyard. My money doesn't just magically float out of nowhere. I have a nice place. I have a nice truck. So, I'm a sandblaster. If any of you know what that is, it's a really physical job. I work hard. I do a lot of overtime, but I am proud. I support my daughter with no other financial help. She's a good kid, and she does a lot of fun stuff. I make sure of it. You want to know why? Because I want her to have a good life. And I've been wanting Chloe and Abel to come back from the weird RV situation with Nate, who's the strange ringleader. It's his RV. It's his rules. He rules the roost. And with Josh, and the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. Josh was very controlling. Some of you might have seen that I put a video on yesterday because the first video didn't clarify it. That's why I had to make a second video yesterday, stating what I'm saying right now. Josh was going through her phone all the time. Josh physically took Chloe's phone and blocked all of Chloe's close friends and family. And so when Josh was checking her phone all the time after cutting Chloe off, they were going from RV park to RV park with Nate, Josh, Chloe, and Chloe was actually scared to reach out to me or her family because she didn't want Josh to catch her messaging us because Josh was monitoring her phone all the time, which makes sense. I really wanted, there's only twice I found out where they were. Each time I had the police go and visit. Why? Because what am I going to do? I'm like 3,500 miles away. So each time I was able to slightly find out because of small details in TikTok videos, guess what? I had them go check on my baby boy, Abel. I had them go check on Abel. I wanted to make sure he's safe. And even if Chloe didn't want to be with me, wanted to be with Josh, I had to make sure Abel is safe no matter what. I know Josh pretended for a long time that he was Abel's dad? No, I'm his actual real dad. So anyways, I'm going to turn this over to Chloe. If you have any questions for me, let me know. But here's Chloe. I just had to give a little description. I wanted to get that out of the way because they were, on Reddit last night about that. So I actually have 0 charges on my record. Literally, I passed a federal background check to get in the shipyard where I work right now. They do a fully extensive, very thorough background check. I wouldn't be there if I had a charge like that domestic violence charge. I'm a good DV, whatever.
Thank you for coming on here and sharing that and what happened that day that you were taken in. I do appreciate it. And yes, I am excited to ask Chloe a bunch of questions. I'm so happy you guys are here.
Wait a second. I just saw someone put in the comments she wasn't in the hospital for 2 weeks. I'm actually really glad you brought that up. No, she was not in the hospital for 2 weeks. Remember how I said that my ex, who claimed she was a victim from me doing whatever, she was getting back into those illegal things, putting them in her body? Okay, she went to the hospital and, because of the whole domestic violence thing, she went there and claimed she was having bad neck pain to try to get something that starts with a P. It's something that kills pain, if you know what I mean. Anyways, she went there just to try to get pills to kill the pain, and because she was already putting worse stuff than that into her body, but whatever. She went there to get that type of stuff. So no, she was not. You guys can actually look her name up, get the records from the hospital. She was not in for 2 weeks. She was in for an emergency room visit to get stuff to kill the pain, and she left within a few hours from the ER that night. So okay. I just want to clear that up, and I'm actually glad someone brought that up. No, she was not in the hospital for 2 weeks.
And any other questions? You guys can go directly to his page and you can DM him. I'm sure he's been open with me in the, DMs. I'm sure he'll be open with you too. So any other questions regarding this, feel free to ask him directly. Better that it comes from him than me, right? Okay.
All right.
Okay. Hello, Chloe. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you feeling? How are you settling? How's Abel?
Amazing, and he is amazing. Right now his sissy's changing him. It's actually good to have a break for once in my life.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a lot as a young mom. Did you have anything that you wanted to say before I got into all my questions? I mean, I'm sure you know, but a bunch of people from the Reddit, the Discord, they had a lot that they wanted to ask you.
Oh, of course, and yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, cool.
Ready when they are.
So, I guess maybe we can just start at the beginning. Do you feel comfortable sharing maybe why you left with Josh in the first place and like how did you guys make it to the RV?
We made it to the RV because my aunt kicked us, well, more so him out than me. He never wanted to do his GED. He never helped out my aunt with cleaning around the house. He never did work, so he couldn't pay my aunt rent. So my aunt kicked him out, and I decided to follow. Dumb of myself, too. And then we were going to his dad's.
Okay, so it was like your guys' decision. It wasn't Nate saying, "Hey, come over to the RV. We want you guys here." It was like it was the other way around, pretty much.
Josh asked his dad if we could stay with them.
Okay, and at that time, just so like I know the timeline in my head, when that went down, was Tanya Paige's mom still there, or had she left
I
already?
think she was just leaving.
Okay, that makes sense. So before you went to the RV, did you know that Josh and Paige had dated beforehand?